Does anyone still believe in paradise?
Hello everyone and welcome to the Jenleeion Circle. I'm really excited to talk to the gentlemen that are sitting here today. At Jenleeion, we love highlighting ordinary people who are striving to live extraordinary lives. Today we are talking to three fathers. One is a trucker, one is an event planner, and one designs products. We'll talk to them about their own stories from living in the streets to going from tragedy to triumph. First, I'd like to say, gentlemen, Ernest, Greg, and Charles, thank you guys for being here.
Thank you for having us.
How you doing, fellas?
Good.
Fantastic. Ernest, I'll start with you, right? All of you guys came from the same place, from Quincy Manors, right?
Yes, sir.
And so, like, my family lived close to there as well, right? So I come from the streets, right? And we all are on this bootstrap journey. But take me back to what your childhood was like.
My childhood was pretty good. Growing up around Quincy, I had a family, but I had also had another family, a family of brothers. Where we all grew up together, and it's very rare that you will find a group of about 13, 14 individuals, and we're still packed tight to this day, 30 plus years later. So it was great. It was great growing up around Quincy.
That's incredible. Charles, what about you?
Same thing. I lived in Shelby Cross, and all that we all considered it like Quincy, but Quincy Street was like down the hill. We was up the hill, so it was the downhill and uphill. So, like you said, balling was just like I started around there. Had to prove myself, and then from that, just taught myself how to play basketball, and just acquiring a whole bunch of brothers and sisters, like you said. To this day, I'm still close with a lot of them. So, like you said, it's been really good, because when I'm down, they look out for me, and things that I couldn't imagine sometimes that I want to talk about, they bring it out in me and say, I'm here for you. So it's a good thing.
It's really a family experience. What about you, Greg?
Well, Quincy Street gave me maturity. I transformed from a boy to a man around Quincy Street. And like my brother said, I met a few good men around there when I was young, and still close to them to this day. And we all treat each other like we family. So yeah.
Fantastic. Quincy Manor and Quincy Street is a location located in Prince George's County, Maryland, where I grew up as well. Now, I just to get real for a bit, right? My goodness, living in what individuals would call the hood, with so much turmoil and danger around us, right? How did you all survive that? Or were you immune to the noise? Charles, we'll start with you.
I'll say, honestly, I think really it's just like God, for real. Like, God just saved us, the ones that still here, because we lost a lot of, I know I lost a lot of friends and a lot of
the street
families,
violence, right?
Yeah, so I think it was just God, and like basketball saved us too. So that's all I could say, that was it, because we all was in the street life, but like basketball was like a savior.
Basketball was a savior. I like that, and it's great when it's something that's recreational that ends up being an incidental savior. Greg, your philosophy on this in terms of?
Yeah, I'm just gonna piggyback off of what Charles said. Basketball definitely what still got us here to this day. That orange basketball is what kept us out of certain situations and not being around when certain stuff happening, because we was involved in that activity.
Yeah, healthy distraction.
Right.
Yeah, Ernest.
Like my brother said, it was, sports definitely helped us out, but at the same time, we still had to conform to those streets. We played basketball, but we still had to somewhat still be gangster.
Yeah, that's the survival piece of it, right? In order to you either sink or swim, right?
Exactly.
And that I completely understand. Well, obviously you guys are sitting here because you guys are fathers and you guys are business owners, which I think is quite fascinating. Greg, you started a business about a year ago, designing products. Tell me about that.
I had an idea about creating something that nobody has done. And what I came up with, creative trap chairs.
And also sort of hip hop celebratory, yeah?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, fantastic. Well, Charles, you have a business called Icy Boy Promotions, right? And you've been doing event planning for, I think, about 16 years. Tell me about how you got into that and what turned you into an entrepreneur in reference to event planning?
So I started out the idea of just bringing my friends and, you know, because like I said, we lost so many friends and I lost so many family members and stuff. So I just started doing events and it just came natural. So I started out, I did one party, then I learned how to bartend. So I kind of did bartending and events at the same time. So like it got too hectic for me bartending because all my phone was ringing. I'm behind the bar. Everybody like, where you at? So I just started like just doing events and that's it. So I just been doing it since then, and I just, you know, just bringing my friends and family together, just like, you know, have a good time. I think like even right now, a lot of people need that. So I think doing it, it just made me feel good because I knew I was doing something good. So people call me to do events and, or if I even bartend, do weddings and things like that. But I just did it to bring everyone together. So.
And that's excellent. That's excellent. The United States continues to experience issues with product delivery. There's a shortage of truckers. And that brings me to you, Ernest. This year, you decided to start Akers and Akers Truckers, right?
Mm-hmm.
What made you start a trucking company?
Well, this year I was actually just released from prison.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, before my release, I was like, well, you know, I'm 40 years old, about to be a returning citizen. It's too old for me to be working for somebody. So I need to start my own business. And, you know, just being in there and reading and like you said, a shortage of truckers, a shortage of deliveries and all that, I said, let me start my own trucking business. So when I came home, when I came home in August of 2021, I went to the halfway house. I got out of the halfway house in March of 21 and in March of 21, I started my own trucking business, Akers and Akers Trucking. I currently only have one truck in the fleet, a 26-foot box truck, but I'm looking to expand. And then I also wanted to start my own business to have something to pass on to my children.
That's fantastic. And the inspiration behind that is the fact that a lot of times when people are released from prison, you wonder what reentry to society is going to look like, right?
Definitely.
And the fact that you go in, you know, like a shark with the entrepreneurial spirit to say, let me make money for myself, there's definitely inspiration in that. So thank you for sharing that. Each of you guys are fathers, obviously. Ernest, you have 5 kids. Yes. Charles, you have 3. And Greg, you have 3, right?
Yes.
How is it being a father, Greg?
It's challenging. Each day is it's a different challenge. Being a black father is hard. Sometimes you don't get to father the way you want to father your children.
That's a good point. But tell me, I understand that, but tell me why you say that.
I say that because for one, my self-experiences, it's just difficult to be in a situation where as though the children, mother doesn't let you father the children how they're supposed to be fathered.
And what you're touching on is something that a lot of fathers experience, let alone, use that word sociological again, in our community, right? Where there might be difficult with the mother and the mother doesn't allow you to father the way you want to, but you still have to retain your self-respect as a father, right? So, you know, with that being said, you know, how do you cope with it?
I mean, you just do the best you can, because the majority of the reason why is because if you ain't in the household, if you're not living in the household, then you don't really have too much say on what goes on in someone else's household. But you just try to, do the best you can and compromise.
And make sure you have as much visibility as you can.
Right.
So I'll turn to you, Charles. Fatherhood, what has it been for you?
I mean, it saved my life because I had my son in high school, so it made my whole mentality change. So instead of me just like not caring, I had to think like I have this son to take care of for my first son. And it changed it changed my whole outlook of even just like trying to go to the next level. At first I just wanted to graduate high school and that's it and just be done, get out of school, period. But then once I had my son and I started like we playing sports, I played basketball, football, ran track, and I started seeing that I could go to college on a scholarship or whatever. But you know, it saved my life being a parent because I had to care about my kids. And just like Greg said, it's challenges being a black father. I mean, I don't know how it is in other, races, but being a black father and being like, if you have kids by multiple women and you trying to parent, like you said, it's kind of hard sometimes. I've been a single father and I've been a co-parent, and I'm a co-parent now. So, like you said, you just gotta try to be in your kid's life and do the best you can. And one thing I wanted to say is like sometimes being a dad is downplayed. It's not as big as being mothers. Like Mother's Day, I made a post, like Father's Day this year is on Juneteenth, and a lot of people are like, what's the problem? It's not Mother's Day don't get interrupted by anything. So that's all. Like it's just challenging being a father, and we just gotta do the best we gotta do.
Yeah, and I think just being a parent, period, is difficult, let alone the societal difficulties that we have to contend with. I'm now in the process where I'm 3 weeks into my experience having to co-parent, the kids that I have. And, it is difficult because they're away from you for a week and then they come back and you wonder, gee, what sort of thing do I have to undo and expect that it's going to be redone when they leave next week?
Right.
That sort of thing. Ernest, obviously you were very open and candid with the fact that you've just gotten out of prison.
Mm-hmm.
What has fatherhood meant to you, and how long did that take you away from your kids, and what effect may it have had on you?
Fatherhood to me, first and foremost, is wonderful, and like Greg said, it's definitely challenging. But for me, I'm loving every minute of it. I mean, I can have my bumps in the roads where, like I said, I'm returning from doing overall 13 years in prison. So that's 13 years that I've been away from my children.
Absolutely.
So trying to come home and, me get to know them get to know me, because some of them, I went away when they were 1 year old, some before.
Yeah.
So it's definitely been wonderful. But even though I wasn't physically present, I was still present in their lives, and that's thanks due to their mothers. Regardless if I was in prison or not, I still had that, well, you need to ask your father. You know what I'm saying? Even though I wasn't physically there.
Well, that's powerful, because a lot of men in that position don't get to experience that.
Exactly. So
right, the women, they close the door, right? Or it's some degree of you're living out your punishment for whatever societal wrong that you've done, but at the same time you're double punished because the mother decides that she's not going to let you speak to the child.
Exactly.
I think that's unique. That puts you in a blessed position that you still were able to develop a telephonic relationship with your kids.
Definitely.
Despite. That's very powerful. So with that being said, gentlemen, the lessons that you could give to your kids, right? What is the biggest lesson that you would want to give to your kids? You guys are sitting here as entrepreneurs, you've looked over your lives, my goodness, you have interesting stories. What do you want to teach your kids? What are the lessons that you've learned that you would say, 1, 2, 3, these are the 3 things you need to know? Whoever wants to go first, jump in.
I would say stay honest, stay humble, and build your credit.
Fabulous. Fabulous. Ernest, your chance, and you can't use the same words. What's your singular lesson for your kids?
Well, definitely for my sons is that, I just want them to just understand, like, I don't even have single words for it. It's just, everything that you're going through, I've been through. So I'm here to give you that heads up. Pretty much on daggone near every situation that you come about, I've been through it. And it's just, man, just like, I ain't gonna use his words, but
It's universal.
It's a lot with that.
It's universal. Charles?
I say to my kids, build wealth, have something that you can pass on to your kids, and the last thing is just like just be a real person. Like I think I've come a long way because I've just been me and I haven't, been fake or anything like that. So that's like part of me and that's just my brand in a way. So
authenticity.
Yeah. If I can,
Yeah, go ahead.
be honest with yourself.
Be honest with yourself.
Be honest with yourself.
Yeah, I love that.
Be you.
Do you guys find it difficult to sleep at night with worrying about your daughters?
Oh, definitely.
I have all boys, but some people just like me.
I didn't want a girl for that reason because not because of the person I was, but I already knew she was going to, make me a sucker. So, so that's why I didn't want a girl. So, but yeah, I love it. She like my, if I got something on my face, she like my mother. Let me get that. So, yeah.
I don't too much worry about it because I got a whole lot of brothers, so they got a whole lot of uncles.
Yeah, you say, you know what, the cavalry is standing by.
Definitely.
What about you, Greg, with daughters? Do you worry about your daughters sometimes?
So.
So.
Not too much as probably just for their like overall safety, but not too much as far as like if they gonna run into a good man or whatever the case is.
Yeah, I would love to have daughters someday, but I'm glad I don't right now because I am crazy. I would. They find out that this blindness doesn't mean anything. Well, let's tell everyone where they can follow you guys. Where can everyone follow you, Ernest?
Well, you can follow me on Facebook at Ernest Akers the Fourth or IG at Ernest Akers the Fourth.
Fantastic, Charles.
Man, I got Instagram, Icy Boy Promotions, Twitter, I think it's Icy Boy Promo. And just look up Icy Boy Promotions, that's it. You
Icy
can
Boy
find me.
Promotions.
So yeah.
And Greg, Creative Trap Chairs. Where can they follow you?
Follow me at IG, Creative Trap Chairs, and in the streets.
Well, fantastic. There you have it. From trucking to promoting to designing. I am so excited to have met Ernest, Charles, and Greg in the Jenleeion Circle today. I hope you guys do check out their pictures that are also in the Jenleeion magazine. This was the Jenleeion Circle, real stories with real people. See you next time.
Does anyone still believe in paradise? Well, it's only me. So far,